Welcome. My name is Magdalena Surma. I'm the Program Editor of Global Horizons here at NATO's Association of Canada. Today, I'll be interviewing Jonas Becker, who is the Program Editor of Procurement. Jonas successfully completed an Honours Bachelor's of Arts and Science degree from the University of Toronto with a distinction in political science and history. Welcome, Jonas. Thank you for joining us. To begin, your bio mentions that in your final year at the University of Toronto, you decided to participate in an exchange program at the University of Hong Kong, where you engaged in political governance and international governance as well. Tell us more about that experience.
Well, it was an excellent opportunity that I was very fortunate to be able to take part in. I did a year at the University of Hong Kong, and it's very interesting to be able to go into another country, and more than just having a transitory experience where you're there for a very brief period of time, but to actually live there and to get to have a more intimate knowledge of the culture and the people there. And it was particularly fascinating studying Chinese governance and their view on international relations and public policy, because at that point Occupy Central was taking place. So I was very fortunate at the time doing that.
Tell us how that has shaped you professionally.
I think how it shaped me professionally, besides just being a very fun and rewarding experience in itself, is that it's very much broadened my horizons and given me a more international outlook in my education. And I hope to be able to take that to both the academic level when I start my master's, but also at some point in the professional level, that it would be a logical continuation to work abroad at some point or in some capacity.
Jonas, let us all know, why did you choose NATO's Association of Canada?
Well, it seemed like a logical next step. I've always had an interest in both academic and personal in international affairs and security and good governance. And to me, it was a logical continuation from doing it academically to getting a toehold in the professional world. And I consider myself very fortunate indeed to be working right now with the NATO Association of Canada and my very talented team of interns as well, who I work with. I think that NATO plays a very important role in the current instability of the world, and that we are very fortunate in Canada and in many countries in the West because of the security that NATO has provided since the Cold War.
Jonas, for youth out there interested in international affairs and relations, what would you advise them to do? How would you inspire someone who's passionate about this topic and wants to pursue it to further themselves in a way that they can excel and obtain a career through actively being involved and engaged in current affairs and topics?
It's such a broad field that I think it very much depends on what the individual in question wants to do. You could go into the diplomatic corps, the foreign service, you could work in some sort of form of intelligence or security. There's high-level public policy work that deals with this. The biggest piece of advice that I could give is get involved when you're in your university, especially in your undergrad, whether that means joining clubs or doing a year abroad like I did. Another big thing would be having more than one language. It's very useful and it opens up a lot of doors. I speak German.
I speak Polish.
Yeah, I'm making an effort to learn French. It's very hard, but it's something that you should very much strive for, because employers look at that and that's what they're looking for right now. And finally, you have to genuinely enjoy it. It's a lot of research. It's, at least in the beginning, it's a lot of drafting and policy work and editing. But if you enjoy it, keep going for it.
As the new Program Editor of Procurement, what can we expect from you?
Well, what I'm interested specifically in looking at procurement, which in layman's terms is how Canada buys and sells its weaponry and defense equipment. What I'm interested in is that we have had, to put it mildly, that the Canadian procurement for defense in the last 60 years has been very troubled. and I'm interested in why. The government recently unveiled a new defense procurement strategy, and so I'm currently in the middle of a series examining the implications of that for domestic defense and whether or not that's going to impact programs among our NATO allies, such as the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program. But yeah, the focus of my new role as Program Editor of Procurement at the NATO Association of Canada is primarily looking at the weaknesses and possible revisions to Canada's defense.
I'm sure we all look forward to seeing your work and learning more about you as time progresses. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you very much.